So we're sitting here today at HiFi Bar in Aarhus to talk a bit about the importance of great sound and, of course, great cocktails. And HiFi Bar is a vinyl listening bar, one of the popular new things to pop up around the world recently, focusing on high-quality cocktails, music, and, of course, the sound experience. Firstly, what are we drinking?
We're drinking our signature cocktail called Pink Plus White. It's named after a track from Frank Ocean. That is album Blonde, and it's was actually the first created cocktail we had on paper before we even got started on HiFi. So linking music and cocktail was the general idea just for the beginning.
So the very beginning was that we need to link the two. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Well, we're sitting here with Jacques, who's one of the driving forces behind HiFi Bar, and also one of the mixologists here. And then we have Mads, one of the many different DJs, one of the in-house DJs, but HiFi Bar has a lot of different ones regularly. And then we have our product specialist Thomas as well to have a relaxed talk, a drink, and chat about what's going on here. So Jacques, tell us a little bit about HiFi Bar and the kind of atmosphere you're trying to create here.
First and foremost, HiFi is a bar. We do make cocktails, but we focus on atmosphere. Therefore, like, the sound and music is very important to us.
What kind of atmosphere are you trying to create? Experience.
The kind of atmosphere you would have at home, on your private party or on your vacation house. A relaxed atmosphere, and cozy and Danish Hygge vibe, you know.
So you don't have live music here, but how do you create an atmosphere that's special, that stands out?
Because we don't have live music, we still have focus on the company's own atmosphere, the good conversation, the talk they were going through. So we don't have a distortion in live music, but we do have live performance in terms of our DJs, our resident DJ Mads, of course, and also he's the head of the booking in here. So it would change from different varieties of different DJs that are coming in, changing the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm. What thoughts went into the process when you were selecting the sound system and the speakers?
The process started off with how are we gonna manage to get good sound in this atmosphere, in this venue with a lot of glass and concrete floor. So we needed some help. We got some help from the local guys at the HiFi Klubben, and they were kind enough to help us out. And the general idea was having a lot more speakers to create a better atmosphere for also playing at a lower volume, which was totally new for me personally. That was a criteria for us.
Yeah. So Thomas, as a product specialist and knowing how to set up these places, what are your maybe you can speak a little bit to the setup in HiFi Bar, the equipment here.
And so the general setup was based on the criteria that the guys had for the things they wanted in this room. And one of the criteria was that, well, there's a lot of people in here, there's a lot of talking, there's a lot of conversations. They should be able to have their conversations without being overpowered by the music. So, just as you say, a good low volume performance was critical. And that's actually something that we take great pride in and care of when we design our speakers, that they have very low loss of energy at any level, so they sound really good at low volumes as well. Mm. And then we just put a lot of them in here, 8 speakers for this room, plus 3 subwoofers, just to get as even coverage as possible for any seating in the room. So we're using 8 of the DALI OBERON 1 speakers, and then we're supplementing them with 3 subwoofers, 2 of what's called the E12 subwoofers in the back of the room, and 1 K14 subwoofer here next to the DJ booth and in the front of the room. And then for Mads, For his monitoring, we have 2 DALI ALTECO, which is directional speakers that he can use when he's DJing.
So, so the distribution of the speakers, maybe you talk a little bit into how the speakers are used in the space and why. What's each speaker's function?
Well, the smaller ones sitting up on the ceiling, the Oberon ones, they are mainly there to both give an even coverage of energy so that the sound is the same throughout the room. They're all configured in mono, so all the speakers does the same. This is not a listening room. This is a conversation room, an atmosphere, so we want coverage is more important than perfect stereo imaging, for example. So they will handle everything from, let's say, upper bass, mid-range, and treble. And then for the low regions, the low frequencies, we have the subwoofers, where we can actually, on the back, say how much low frequency energy we want. And that's the hardest part for the speakers, is to reproduce the low frequencies. That typically requires a big speaker. So with the subwoofers and a lot of the small ones, we can actually simulate having a very big system.
Yeah. So essentially, we're customizing the low frequency to the room.
Exactly. And getting something that looks the part as well.
Yeah.
It looks very good and non-intrusive on the room.
Yeah. Yeah, because compared to maybe built-in speakers or something else, that's much bigger. This has this home residential vibes. It's something that you would have at home, which is also, the purpose of the atmosphere you're trying to create in the bar. Some would say that the Oberon 1 is a small speaker for a vinyl bar. What are your thoughts on this as a prog specialist and an audiophile?
I think that the fact that we have lots of them, and the fact that this is not a discotheque or anywhere where you want very high volumes for extended periods of time. This is supposed to be a background listening system. So for that purpose, having lots of them, having the subwoofers to complement with, it's a perfect choice.
Mess. What was your experience once the new system and the new subwoofers were installed and turned on? What was your experience coming from a point of view where you go to a lot of different places and work as a DJ with a lot of different setups?
Firstly, the thing I noticed was the frequency level, especially when we got the new subwoofers and the new booth monitors. It was really recognizable right from the beginning that the sound spectrum was updated and much better. Also, then I started playing tracks that I normally play, and all of a sudden I noticed more percussion elements or louder frequencies that I weren't able to pick up at home or even in my headphones. So it was quite an upgrade, and as a DJ, it makes you happy when the music sounds great.
So as you here have a couple of Altego speakers in your booth, what's the purpose of these, and how are these working for you?
The purpose of the booth monitors is to give understanding on how the music sounds throughout the room and how it feels for the people sitting and listening. Also being able to match the sound level. Depending on the media you select on vinyl, there's different sound levels. So it helps me a lot to balance out the sound experience for our guests. I use headphones a lot of the time because of the high volume, and I tend to use headphones more frequently when sound is bad. And right from the get-go with these ones, I noticed that I didn't even use my headphones at all, only just to cue in the tracks. And in my opinion, that's a great way of improving the strength of the speakers. I mean, not wanting to use the headphones because it sounds much better in the room.
Yeah.
And also because they are able to play at a detailed level, not too loud, and they are really nice listening to music on for multiple hours.
And they probably give you a more realistic representation of what the sound is in the rest of the room compared to wearing headphones, which would be isolated to what your experience is.
Definitely. But also because it helps me listen to the small details that helps me mix better or maybe being able to, oh yeah, it reminds me of another record, and then it's just like, then it makes it more fun that you don't really have to, oh now I have to put my headphones on again, try to listen. I can just like, it gets more of a organic feel, and it helps me have more fun when I'm DJing and playing towards a crowd that needs to enjoy it. But it helped me a lot with the mixing and also listening to the tracks and enjoying them after I queued in the next track. Yeah, definitely.
So Jacques, so you also have there's another bar in town, Force Majeure, which is also belongs to you guys, which is not a vinyl bar. It doesn't have this this type of setup. How does that play a role in Hella's success?
It plays a big role. It really does. First of all, we are very jealous of the setup Hella has in terms of speakers. But from the get-go, starting Hella, and it's hard not to compare with the other bar. How that works. We wanted to do everything we couldn't do in there out here. So in comparison, it was night and day. Still creating a good bass and good set of cocktail and good cocktail menu, but from the get-go, it was all about the atmosphere. It was all about the venue and the view, but all wrapped together nicely with a good sound and a good music. And then we also do nice cocktails. Yeah,
that you do. And on that note, thanks for spending some time here, guys. It was great seeing you, and hope you keep enjoying the overruns.
You too. Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.